The Magic School Bus was widely known to children and adults alike, with common peers of the third grade, and a not-so-common class, and a not-so-common teacher, and most certainly, a not-so-common school bus. Being a public school, Walkerville Elementary had unfortunately a low budget and could not afford conventional bus drivers. So as a requirement of new teachers, they were to have a mandatory CDL driver's license and a permit to drive a school bus. This being the reason why Valerie Felicity Frizzle was more than an appropriate candidate, as she already owned a school bus.
I sold Frizzle the bus in '83. I'm surprised she ever had it running. I'd never thought that thing would have stayed running. I'm surprised there's not more retarded kids from that bus. The manifolds on both sides were loose. There's always carbon monoxide leaking into that thing. I fixed it tight enough to where it held just so she could buy it, just long enough for me to sell it. There was like a bolt on each side. The engine was free floating, and I don't know how that thing ran. It's just beyond me. Miss Frizzle, she's a nutcase, so it's pretty easy to sell it to her. But yeah, there wasn't no magic bus. They got magic fumes, but that's about it.
He was right to worry.
The Magic School Bus was so run down that just by starting it, the entire cabin would fill with carbon monoxide, an odorless gas that causes drowsiness, mild hallucination, brain disease, and even death. It was amazing everyone lived through these field trips. What I believe is the bus would fill with carbon monoxide, and the children would fall into a lucid state. Miss Frizzle would lead them on guided hallucinations, thus resulting in these magical field trips.
Wait, I always heard her talking about field trips, but the bus never left the parking lot. So after a few field trips, I decided to call the police and see what was going on.
Well, I got an anonymous tip that some teacher was holding a bunch of students hostage in a school bus. So I decided to check it out down at Walkerville Elementary. When I got there, it was just as the anonymous tip suggested. A bunch of kids stuck in a school bus. I opened up the bus and they were all in some kind of weird trance, you know, like they were in a cult or something. I mean, my God, this is a Christian suburb. So I booked them all, and it turns out that they were hallucinating off of some sort of gas or drug or something. That's why me and the boys have been passing around the term field tripping. Get it? Like LSD? The children were devastated. Wanda Lee, a likable little girl with captivating eyes and a lust for adventure, shouting with a catchphrase so endearing, "Come on, you Weasley wimps," developed a desperation for relationships, resulting in an unhealthy obsession with David Bowie. And after a tragic, unforgettable event between Wanda and Bowie, Wanda made the life decision to undergo a gender alteration operation, and is now known as Walter. Well, I'd look at my pictures and I'd see a Korean, Japanese, Chinese, Puerto Rican, Mexican, African American girl. But when I looked in the mirror, I saw a Norwegian boy. So I decided that I wanted what was in the mirror to match what was in the pictures. So I had a few changes.
She was definitely cute in a like a chubby sort of way, but now I think there's been some definitely like major improvements on her.
But that was not the only mental trauma that was spawned from these dastardly deeds. Carlos, with his delightful puns and knack for making the normal abnormally funny, began changing movie titles with an eccentric twist, thus leading to his current career as a director, producer, actor in the independent film industry.
I never realized my true passion when it was so obvious to others. I met up with a delightful fella named, well, not named Jerry Garcia, but he looked like Jerry Garcia. His real name was Jack Vincennes. He shared a set with me for my first success named Grind Horse. I mean, let's face the fact, everyone likes girls and zombies more than they like girls and cars. Now I'm trying to get Wanda to be my lead role in my next movie, X-Women. Get it?
Carlos had no talent as far as movies go. I have never read a script with such dry dialogue and no direction. On top of that, he was just in it for the image. A very distorted image at that. But most would buy this image. One being Keisha, who learned from her past experiences on the Magic School Bus that everything would turn out all right no matter how bad it may seem. This turned her into a very high risk taker, and this proved to result fatally. Well, we found Miss Franklin's body in the small apartments up at Wonderland, along with 3 other bodies, well-known gang members, addicts, and the only weapon we could conclude to would had to be a screw iron pipe. It was gruesome. It was quite possibly the most gruesome scene we've seen here since, well, the Wonderland mass murders of 81. Also at Wonderland. Man, that place has a history. Our only suspect was one Carlos Ramon. He was an old schoolmate of hers, and now I hear he's in the adult industry.
I was never up there. At the time of the murders, I was at the local high school looking for some new talent.
Carlos came to my house late that night, covered in blood, asking for a warm bath and a few hours of sleep. He just kept saying she deserved it over and over.
Is it true that you and Keisha Franklin are starting a monogamous relationship?
Well, I mean, between movies, pay dating, and freebies, I can guess that I've slept with at least 14,000 women. Why would I just stop with one?
That's impossible. We just made that up to help his image. He had never been with that many women.
But is it true you've been together intimately?
Of course, all the time. She is obsessed with me. How could she not? I'm the Carlos Ramon.
Keisha never liked Carlos that much. She only was around when she needed a phone number or to get in some reckless situation. They never slept together. God knows Carlos tried, though.
Unfortunately for Dorothy Ann, she abandoned all dreams and became an underachiever.
So I got domestic violence for making my boyfriend cry. Emotional violence, apparently. So I thought since the jerk was already calling the cops, I'd make it worth my while. Burn his favorite t-shirt in front of him. Panic at the Disco. That should have been burnt way before we started dating. Anyway, back at Walkerville High School, I abandoned my dreams of going to Oxford. Learned that 73% of your brain cells were killed from carbon monoxide from half an hour of exposure. So my parents abandoned me. I got a job at this crap hole to get by. But things are looking up. According to my research, if I start a small grease fire in the kitchen, this place will burn down in 12.3 minutes.
And she did. She is now living somewhat more comfortably in the Walkerville Penitentiary. Dorothy Ann. Wow, I haven't heard that name in years. I was so surprised when I found out she was my server. But somehow I knew, because I sort of recognized that spit in my burger. Ralphie got involved with some undesirable characters, experimenting with many drugs and abnormal amounts of alcohol. He was clinically diagnosed brain dead for 30 minutes. Once resuscitated, he began a long, hard journey of recovery.
I used to party a lot, but I don't really do that anymore because that's bad. You shouldn't do that. I play a lot of scratch tickets now because, scratch tickets you win or lose, but with drugs and alcohol, especially drugs, you lose all the time. I still live with my mom and stuff. I mean, it's cool. I don't have to worry about paying bills or getting a job or anything stupid like that. And she makes me sandwiches. It's cool. And my best friend's a movie director, so I get to be in movies sometimes, and it's like it's really awesome. But and I love music. I mean, I play a lot, and that's all I really care about. And it's what I want to do for a living someday.
Phoebe, with her down-to-earth nature, decided to get down with nature.
So after the school bus incident, I decided to go live out in the wilderness for 5 years, just to do some soul searching. Then I decided, why not make some money while doing it? So I sold my share to the Uncovery channel, and here I am.
Phoebe Therese is the snake wrestler.
When trying to survive out in the wild, you gotta know what you can eat and can't eat. Like this here. It's yellow, it looks pretty. Gotta squeeze it a little bit, pull it apart a little bit. Now that's edible. I built this dam here to
filter the water so it's drinkable on the other side. You could use this to kill an animal. It's very useful in the wild. Got it! Sometimes it's hard to find a shelter, so you just have to build one. Thanks.
Arnold, with his intellect and leadership skills, decided to form a selective group dedicated to making the world a better place by any means necessary.
Yeah, I've pretty much just been trying to promote a policy of peace, you know? It's just, there's too much war and violence out there. Man, it just makes me sick. See, I got this theory, right? This theory is the only things that cause war is race, religion, and creed. So if we were all of one religion, one race, and one creed, we wouldn't have any confrontation. Yeah, there'd still be small struggles and whatnot based on greed and money and corruption and all that, but we can take care of that internally. There would be no full-out war, you know? So pretty much, what I've just been trying to do is go out and give a message to the people. Just go out there. Tell people, we need to be of one religion. We need to get rid of the multiple different gods that are out there that are causing confusion and chaos, and just believe in one ultimate being. It doesn't matter who it is or what it is, just as long as everyone believes in that one being. As well as trying to go out there and teach the kids, Get the kids involved and active. Trying to get them to believe when they're young. That way, when they grow older, they can teach others as well. It's been a hard fight. People are calling me every turn, telling me that I'm a racist, a bigot. These words mean nothing to me. I am enlightened.
And Miss Frizzle, due to long-term exposure to carbon monoxide poisoning, now resides in a mental hospital in Montreal, Canada. Liz, the lovable class pet iguana, had to go in for a routine heart transplant, but something went terribly wrong.
Oops.